Hey everyone, and welcome. So today we are digging into a story that, let's be real, a lot of us grew up with, Disney's Hercules. But have you ever stopped and wondered why the big, lovable hero from that movie is just so completely different from the original Greek legend? Well, you're about to find out, because we're going to unpack the whole thing.
You know, the movie itself kicks off with this exact question. It's a classic, right? Something we've all probably thought about, and it perfectly sets the stage for this huge journey of self-discovery that Disney frames in a very, very specific way.
And yeah, Disney's answer is pretty clear. It's all about having a good, pure heart. Their Hercules is this kind of awkward but super sweet teenager who goes on the ultimate self-improvement quest. He goes from zero to hero, he gets famous, he gets the girl, and he finally finds his place on Mount Olympus. It is the perfect feel-good story.
But, and this is a big but, if you pull back the curtain on the actual ancient myth, you find a story that is not about feeling good at all. Not even close. It's a story that's absolutely steeped in tragedy, in pain, and some seriously cruel gods.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. It's time to meet the original Greek hero, Hercules. And yep, that's with a K. And let me tell you, he is a world away from the character we know from the movie.
And this slide right here, wow, it just lays out how jarring the differences really are. On one hand, you've got labors that make you a celebrity. On the other, the labors are a brutal penance for a crime that is just unspeakable. In a fit of madness sent by the goddess Hera, Hercules murders his own wife and kids. Disney's hero saves Meg and chooses love. The original Hercules dies this agonizing, tragic death. It's a complete 180 of the story.
In this quote from the ancient Greek play by Euripides, it just perfectly captures the absolute despair of the original hero. This isn't a story about finding your strength and becoming a star. It's about enduring suffering that is just unimaginable.
Just look at how they show the Hydra fight. In the Disney movie, it's this awesome, thrilling action sequence, almost like a level in a video game. But the ancient version? It shows this grim, chaotic, desperate struggle against a monster that basically represents endless, unconquerable chaos. Two totally different vibes. And this right here really gets to the heart of it. One version is all about looking good, flexing for the cheering crowd. The other is this raw, violent depiction of a life or death battle. It's not for show, it is purely about survival.
So this brings us to the big question, right? Why the huge change? Why would Disney take a story of profound, dark tragedy and turn it into this upbeat, family-friendly musical? Well, the answer actually tells us a ton about how we tell stories today.
You know, academics actually have a name for this whole process. It's called neo-mythologism, and it's basically the art of taking these old classical stories and repackaging them to fit our modern values and, let's be honest, to make them a whole lot more marketable.
What Disney did was something you could call a mythic domestication. They took the chaotic, tragic, and really morally complicated story of Hercules and made it safe. They made it palatable and inspiring for a family audience. The focus completely shifts from enduring suffering to these very American ideals of cheerful optimism and becoming a self-made man. And what's wild is that the film is totally in on the joke. The villain, Hades, literally complains that his own minions are out there buying Hercules action figures. Heroism isn't just a virtue anymore. It's been turned into a brand.
I mean, nothing says modern American hero quite like having your face on a credit card, right? The movie just leans into it, turning the whole path to godhood into this celebrity montage, complete with product endorsements and the whole 9 yards.
Even the narrators of the film, the muses, they tell you what they're doing right at the very beginning. They literally interrupt a more traditional, solemn narrator, and they make it crystal clear. We are ditching the tragedy, and we're going to make this story fun.
But this whole idea of reshaping myths, it isn't just a Disney thing. It's a living tradition that's still happening today. So, to see how it works, let's try a little thought experiment. Let's drop our ancient hero right into the modern world and give him a whole new set of challenges. Okay, so picture this. Hercules, or, well, Edicle, as they'd call him in Italy. He just materializes in the middle of Rome, let's say in the year 2026. His first labor? Dodging a swarm of electric scooters. Then Zeus gives him a new task: choose a modern electric chariot. So he test drives a Tesla, feeling that lightning bolt speed. He considers a Rivian pickup, for hauling around Nemean lions and stuff. And then he zips through traffic in a tiny Fiat.
And his final choice, the Tesla, of course. It's got godlike speed, and it has zero emissions. So in this fun little reimagining, the ultimate hero of ancient times becomes an eco-warrior for the 21st century. It's a kind of silly but perfect example of how we just can't help but update these timeless stories to reflect what we care about right now.
So, what does this all tell us? From a Disney blockbuster all the way to a silly story about electric cars, what's the big takeaway here? Let's try and bring it all together.
The thing is, myths are never really set in stone. They are living, breathing stories that change right along with us. The ancient Greeks told the story of Hercules to explore human suffering and the, frankly, cruel indifference of the gods. Today, we often retell these very same stories to explore ourselves, our ambitions, our obsession with celebrity, and our dreams of personal fulfillment.
And that really makes you think, doesn't it? By choosing to tell the story of an upbeat hero who finds fame and fortune, instead of a tragic one who has to endure unimaginable suffering, what does that choice say about the values that we champion today? So there you have it, from tragic hero to celebrity brand. That's the story of the great mythic makeover. It really shows us that the stories we choose to tell, and maybe more importantly, how we choose to tell them, are really just stories about ourselves. Thanks so much for digging into this with me. See you next time.